Hello, I'm doing another video for the internet, and you're currently watching it, I hope. This is some reasons why I think the UV fast category is underrated. The other day I made a video similar to this about the Tyson category, and I'm going to be using a lot of similar reasoning and expanding upon that here. And the demo that's currently being played is my Hell Revealed first episode UV Fast movie, which is about 40 minutes, but hopefully I don't take 40 minutes to get out my presentation here. This is maybe I should start actually writing things down before I do these videos. I usually just do them all from memory because I hate writing. Just kidding. But anyway, UV Fast, it's an underrated category, possibly even more underrated than Tyson. And I'm going to talk about why you should be playing UV Fast. So, one, you might be wondering, what the fuck is UV Fast, right? So a lot of people that aren't familiar with Doom speedrunning would think UV Fast, so you beat the game fast on UV. Well, if you thought that, you would be wrong, because you have no idea what the hell you're talking about, and you should honestly feel ashamed for even coming to that conclusion in the first place. But once you're done feeling shameful, I will then elaborate on what the fuck this shit is. So, in Doom, there's the Nightmare difficulty, and when they made the Nightmare difficulty, they changed the way that the game plays in adding fast monsters, which makes the monsters basically attack you more, so the chances of them, choosing anything other than attacking is less. So let's just say that there's a pool of random, whatever the fuck, and they can choose to walk, or they can choose to shoot, bullets at you or projectiles of some kind. They're going to choose shooting projectiles more often than they're going to choose walking. So a lot of the times you'll see things like imps standing still or walking one step in between fireballs, and also demons, the pinkies. They move really fast. So that's essentially what it is, and it basically creates a more challenging dynamic for general gameplay. Though there are exceptions. Some levels, UV fast monsters is actually easier because infighting is easier. They attack more often than not, and so getting monsters to attack each other is more of a feasible strategy. And that's kind of again, one thing that's big with Tyson, but that's another thing that's really big with UV Fast, and you also still get to use fun stuff like the super shotgun and the rocket launcher and stuff like that, right? So the more focus on infighting is really fun. So in a way, UV Fast is easier to optimize when you really think about it, right? Because what is the most optimized max run? You want to shoot the gun as minimally as possible. By the way, look at this horrendous gameplay. If you want to beat my time, I would be very happy about that. I lost my train of thought. That's unfortunate. This is why you should write things down. But yeah, so when you're going for a fully optimized UV max run, your goal is to shoot as minimally as possible. You want to beat the game while shooting the least amount of times, right? And how do you achieve that? Well, you want to get high damage luck when you're shooting, because every time you shoot the gun, they're rolling dice in the background. You just don't see them. And also, you want to get the enemies to shoot each other. And so getting an super optimized UV max time generally just boils down to getting extremely lucky, and also the skill involved with that, because luck is useless without skill. A lot of people love to say it's all luck, but it's not. Sure, you can maybe hit a certain skill threshold and then it's all luck, but you need to know how to react to certain random circumstances, right? In UV max. And with UV fast, things are a lot more predictable, and that is one reason why I really enjoy this category. Because it's in some ways easier to optimize, because things are more predictable. There's less randomness, I guess, on its face. Now, again, not every level applies to this. Some levels, UV Fast is even more random. It really depends on the level design and the enemies, where they're placed and how they could interact, right? But for the most part, UV Fast is more predictable, and so therefore it does have the higher threshold of being able to easily, I guess, reach that maximum optimized time. Though, that's contrasted with UV Fast oftentimes being extremely fucking difficult, because everyone's shooting fucking shit and demons are flying at 3,000 kilometers an hour, and there's a lot of crazy ass shit going on, right? So, and I like that contrast. I like the idea that it is technically more skill-based, both in ratio of skill to luck, right? There's less luck required to get a good time in UV Fast, or to even get an exit in UV Fast. There's less luck required. The skill ratio is higher. But then also the total sum of skill is also higher most of the time. Now, again, there's some examples of like slaughter maps where you have groups of enemies that just get distracted killing each other, and you can walk around and do nothing. And then there's also slaughter maps where you can't get out of the first 30 seconds because they didn't test it with fast monsters, right? So it's really the thing about UV Fast also is that exploration level, where it's like you don't really know what you're you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know. It's hard to predict how a level is going to unfold if you're trying UV Fast. UV Max, it's safe to say most people design levels to be completed, right? So most people will make all the monsters killable and all the secrets achievable, and if they're not, you can just say that's a glitch, so it doesn't count. Like, most people are not out here designing levels where, the goal is for you to just not be able to win and it's just impossible, right? So UV Max is pretty safe to assume, yeah, I'm going to be able to at least reach the exit, and if I can't reach this enemy or whatever, it's usually, that's the case, it's a glitch monster and you can just ignore it, right? Now, again, there's some exceptions there, but with UV Fast, it's more of like an expedition. Is this even possible? Is usually the first question I ask myself when attempting a UV Fast demo. And oftentimes it is possible, but it can be a totally different challenge. Another reason why I like the UV Fast category is because the stakes are usually lower. Even though typically UV Fast is more difficult, the runs for UV Fast either are non-existent because it's an underrated category that people ignore, or they're not that optimized because people just focused on beating the level because it's usually just a challenge thing. You want to beat the level with fast monsters, that's difficult. So you're going to sacrifice speed for safety just to get that completion in. Or, you can watch the run you're seeing here. This is not that good, and yet it's still the record. So go ahead and beat my time, please. And above all else, and this one is probably the most controversial reason why I think why I think UV Fast is an underrated category. And this is very controversial among speedrunners, and Doom speedrunners are no exception, but I personally like the game. I know that this is hard to really fathom, especially if you're a speedrunner, but I actually like this game and I enjoy playing it. And part of that is that I like to play the same game in different ways. I like to experience the same music and level design in different fashions. And that's why I love speedrun categories. You can just play the same level without speedrunning it, and eventually you kind of, what do I do now? What's the point? So then you go to the challenge parameter or the speedrun parameter. It's like, okay, which is just a subset of challenge, really. And oh, well, I can play the same thing with the goal of getting a hyper-optimized time. And that can be fun, too. I'm not trying to shit on that at all. But sometimes, it gets frustrating, when you're playing the same level for hours and hours and hours, and you're really just waiting for the perfect infighting opportunity to happen, or, something like that. And it's kind of out of your control, and it just feels kind of shitty to play sometimes. But with other categories, when you do separate categories, you just get to play the same game, which, in my case, I actually enjoy playing Doom. Now, again, I know a lot of speedrunners out there don't actually enjoy playing the game that they talk about all day, every day. But I actually enjoy the game. So for me, when I'm thinking, okay, I've done this category, I really like this level, I want to keep playing the level, still has some juice I can squeeze out, then I'll look at other categories like UV Fast or something like that. It's just fun. I don't know what to tell you. Just playing the same thing but with slightly different kinds of mechanics, it really forces you to interact with the level design in a different way, to really, pick up on things that you otherwise maybe wouldn't pick up in regular, more mainstream categories. Again, it's just fun. Really, my biggest reason here is it's just fucking fun. And most speedrunners will just ignore these lesser played categories. A lot of speedrunners make fun of them like it's a joke, like ha ha ha, you're playing a category that's more difficult, look at you, LMAO. Now obviously a lot of that's just tongue-in-cheek, I don't know I'm not sitting here saying I'm offended by Discord memes or Twitter memes or what YouTube comments or whatever, but my point is, it's just fucking fun. I enjoy playing the game. So for me, I want to play all the categories, and maybe I'll just do a video about why each category is awesome. But the second one I chose is UV Fast. And again, so boils down to most of the time it's more challenging, so it's more skill based. Like again, in the ratio and in the raw sum of skill required, right? You know, and that's fun. I like that. It's like a test of your skill in that way. But it's also, I just like playing alternate categories. That's like the main reason for me why I play stuff like UV Fast, UV Respawn, Tyson, Stroller, this kind of stuff, is I like this game and I like playing it, and sometimes playing it in the same way over and over and over again. Now, again, I am a speedrunner, right? That's kind of what we do, is play the same thing over and over again. But, you know, again, if I have 1 hour and I can either choose to spend that hour grinding a max run to perfection, and it's basically just me rolling the dice trying to get high damage rolls or good infighting, that can sometimes be frustrating, and sometimes I don't want to do that. And I would rather just do 15 different UV Fast demos that are, you know, again, and once you hit like a speedrunner skill cap, you know, not skill cap, but just skill, you know, level of you're a speedrunner, you're not a filthy casual, you know how to play the game. UV Fast is a lot more fun if you're good at the game. It's just a fun way to play the game. It's an alternative way to play the game. It's an underrated way to play the game. And I personally feel like more people should do it. I'm doing a kind of video series here where I just want to get more people to speedrun Doom, and specifically to speedrun categories that I feel like are underappreciated. Everyone plays Pacifist. We get it. You beat the level without shooting anyone in 5 seconds by, like, you know, humping a wall. Wow, that's so great. That no one's ever seen that before. And everyone loves it. Everyone talks about it. It's the hottest shit in the world. But you know what? I think we should be giving other categories a little bit of attention too. Especially because Doom, for all intents and purposes, is the original speedrun game. And, you know, again, you can make an argument about games that had speedruns before Doom. But Doom, the demo format, the rise of the internet, just the game itself being fucking perfect, it really is the original speed game. And with that in mind, we should be respecting, in my opinion, the historical categories that make up the original speed game. And all of that, by the way, is just secondary to the fact that I like playing the game and I like coming up with new ways to play it. And that's one thing I like about Doom, is that there's a variety of different category types that you can apply to almost every level, and almost all the time they're possible. Now, again, there's some exceptions. Sometimes UV Fast is straight up impossible, or TAS only, or something. That's totally a thing that can happen. But most of the time, it's just super fun. And, yeah, I think that's the end of my presentation here. But, you know, if you have any ideas for videos, let me know. If you want me to talk about other categories, maybe next time I'll talk about UV Respawn, which is, you know, everything I said about UV Fast probably applies even more so to UV Respawn, except the skill to luck ratio is not quite the same, but, you know, save that for another video. But above all else, I just like playing this game. I like coming up with different ways to play it, and that's the fun part for me. You know, not everyone agrees. Some people enjoy talking about a game more than playing it. I am not that person. But jokes aside, you should be playing more UV Fast. You should be recording some more UV Fast demos. And if you've never speedrun the game before, try UV Fast. You know, like if you're just thinking, what's the point of speedrunning or whatever, I'd rather just play casually. I don't know. Think about it. It can be a fun way to up your skill game and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Check it out. Doom. It's a game.